And welcome into another edition of Tobs Talk, everyone. I am Riley Corcoran. The Wilson Tobs have not played a CPL game since Tuesday with all of these rainouts. Last night at Fayetteville, getting washed out a doubleheader. So it'll make the schedule very jam-packed, at least the last 3 weeks. But for the time being, the Tobs will host Forest City tonight, squad's only meeting of the 2013 season. Forest City beat Petersburg last night. They're on a 2-game road swing here on the eastern side, at least at the Coastal Plain League, playing Petersburg last night, and then the Wilson Tobs today at 5 o'clock for that first pitch. Wilson will most likely send Michael Wells, the right-hander, to the mound to try and stop a Forest City team that is hitting .260 collectively. They have 4 standout hitters that hit over .300, so very good offensively. Their pitching has been below average, but we'll see what battle at least wins tonight for Wilson against Forest City. Forest City, their record 12-18, but a bit deceiving. They've been better in the second half. They actually went through a 10-game losing streak in the early part of the season in the first half. That really kind of put them out of the running, put them behind the 8 ball, but have tried to get better since then. They have certainly done that. So Wilson will have their hands full trying to at least get back in the swing of things. Not playing for such a long time, but getting going with it, playing 2 Western Division teams, and tonight against Forest City, taking on Martinsville tomorrow on the road before Wednesday comes along, and it will be a big stretch for Wilson, hosting Wilmington in the Home Run for Hunger game, then going to Wilmington on Thursday for a doubleheader. So those 3 games in a 2-day span might determine who makes it in the playoffs between the Sharks and the Tobs. Coming up on this episode of Tobs Talk, we will talk with Robin Hooser, the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Wilson Tobs, to talk about this Home Run for Hunger game and a big event. She's done a great job all year long, and this is one of the biggest highlights coming up, along with the Ultimate Thirsty Thursday, which we'll get into as well later on in this episode. Austin Love and I will break down this game tonight, as well as Dylan Fry, a standout that played in the College World Series this year for NC State, a pitcher that also will be having an announcement to make where he'll be going to school next year. He'll join me on later in this episode. Of course, Matt, Mike, and I will get you ready for this Forest City game as well. It's all coming up. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran back here with Robin Hooser, a very special event coming up on Wednesday that we've been gearing up towards, it seems like, for the whole season, and one of the promotions that, I guess, back in early May when I came here, that was something that really struck me, the Home Run for Hunger game coming up on Wednesday. Robin, the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Wilson Tobs, done a great job all year long. Tell us a little bit more about it. I mean, how this came to be, this great project that's coming up. I guess just give us a little bit more of the background on it.
Well, originally it started earlier last year at the end of our season, recognizing that Wilson is a very hungry community. And so at the end of the season, I thought about how could we work together with the community and our players and make a day where instead of paying to come to the game, you got to bring food in. And so we worked on that. I worked with a committee starting in December, and we have gotten some great sponsors and food pantry partners, and we've been working very hard to put this together to make it hopefully the largest one-day food drive in Wilson, because you'll bring the food in and stuff our bus, literally. We'll have it parked out front, and just to be able to come in and bring some food and enjoy a baseball game all at the same time was sort of where I was going with that. And
again, for everyone that is not really familiar with it, Stuff the Bus for Hunger, bring how many food items to get a free ticket? Just give us the basics a little bit on how many you have to bring to I guess, get a free ticket for the game.
You bring in 5 non-perishable food items, or 10 maximum per family. We came up with that kind of based on what a ticket cost would be in lieu of purchasing a ticket, purchasing some non-perishable food items. And then we have 15 partner agencies, and we will divvy the stuff up on the bus, and then each agency will come the day after and will get their amount of food. So 5 non-perishable food items, but 10 maximum per family. So if you have a family of 4, you can get in the game with 10 items.
And again, that's before the Wednesday game against the Wilmington Sharks. Also a game that will be broadcast on WIG television as well. So a big night, hopefully a well-attended night as well coming up on Wednesday. I think the weather will cooperate with us. And you were talking about how hungry Wilson really is. And we were just talking about it before we went on here, about the second most in the country, just behind the Bronx. I mean, that to me really stands out as something that, well, we need to really get in front of this and try and make a difference.
And we are in Wilson. I think we're doing a good job in the first congressional district is where Wilson is located, and that whole district as a whole is the second with food insecurities. So It's something, and in the summertime we're the leanest. Your food pantries get full around Christmas and the holidays, and then sometimes around the beginning of the year and in the spring. But July is the leanest month for everybody, and so I've learned this by our meetings with the 15 agencies that we are working with, and then the Wilson Daily Times is doing a series called Hidden Hunger. And with this, the majority of the hunger are in families, so that involves children. So you hate to think of little children being so hungry. So we hope that this is a way to bring people out, give to a good cause, and we really couldn't do it without the sponsors that we've partnered with. Vic Family Farms is a big farm company, big farming operation, and the Wilson Luncheon Lions Club, they've come together for us. The First Baptist Church downtown, they've made a significant contribution, and then Wilson Community College is also another partner of ours with this event. And so with that partnership, it's offered us the opportunity to be able to actually have a free game, because you can't just say no gate receipts today without the support of the sponsors. So that was really a significant contribution from those companies to be able to let us actually put on a free game. And free, yes, as far as not having to pay money, but really, you know, the food is what we're looking for, and I hope we have a big crowd. If you think about our capacity, if each person had 5 food items, we would literally have over a ton of food. Well, a literal ton of food.
It's a great cause, really no excuse not to come out to the ballpark. Again, if you bring 5 non-perishable food items, you get into the game for free. And Robin, in the sense where this whole promotional schedule in general has been a great success, I think, this year with so many different options and different game days. The Thirsty Thursdays, of course, I found out are pretty popular, but everything else as well. I mean, the year as a whole, at least from your perspective, how do you think it's gone so far from the promotional side of things?
I think we've had a great season. We've really stepped up our promotions, our events, the things that we wrap around each game to offer the fans entertainment outside of just coming to the baseball game. Our Pink Night was a huge success. Our Thirsty Thursdays have been good, but you know, we've had a little bit of rain, so we'll be looking forward to our next Thirsty Thursday, which will be that ultimate Thirsty Thursday since we've had the rainouts. But I think overall as a season, our promotions have been much better, and our attendance is going up, and I think that everybody that I talk to in town talks about what a great job we're doing with Wilson Tobs baseball. It's just a great, fun, family, affordable entertainment.
And trying to close it out on a high note the next 3 weeks, Robin, who's the Director of Sales and Marketing. We'll talk with Coach Austin Love coming up next to preview this game against Forest City. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran back here with Coach Austin Love, getting ready for a Sunday game against Forest City, the final Sunday game, at least of the year, Coach. And not much has changed since the last time we talked. Wednesday was the last game. It's been played, more rain in the area. Washing out those big-time games to try and get up for them. We knew how big of a stretch it was going to be, and now all 4 of them get washed out, and they're all rescheduled for certain times. We'll get to the doubleheaders in a second, but when you're getting amped up for games like that, I mean, those 4 big games, it could determine a lot when it comes to the standings. How do you overcome, well, okay, none of them were played. Now we're playing Forest City tonight, just a little bit different of an atmosphere.
Well, you know, the first one that was rained out, we used it as a workout day. We had a workout, 45 minutes to an hour, just attacking some weaknesses. I think we talked about that last time we were on here. As far as the other games, just sitting down with our staff, trying to map out our rotation plan, trying to set ourselves up accordingly, matchup-wise with some of our pitchers and some of the ballparks we're going to play in, and different things like that. I know our players probably don't mind the days off, but it would be nice to get back into a rhythm, playing every day and actually taking batting practice daily and, kind of going through the routine of a regular baseball day so we can get on a roll.
And you led me right into my next question when it comes to the pitching. That's probably the number one thing that I look at and go, well, that'll take a toll on coaches and players, how to reshuffle this rotation going into it. Yes, in a positive way, you can look at it, well, we can do matchups any way we want because everyone should be fresh. But at the same time, like you said, you're trying to get ballparks into play in the sense where you don't want John Valk the third pitching in Edenton, just things like that. But how do you as a coaching staff put that together? Do you and Coach Serber get together and talk about how you want to map out the rotation? Is it based on opponents at this point, or how do you guys really approach that?
We sat down yesterday, during our time off and talked about it a little bit. The week coming, how we wanted to set things up, but the week after this is the big week because we play 3 doubleheaders within 5 or 6 days. I think it's 9 games in 6 days or something like that. So trying to set the matchups right, like you said, trying to put guys in successful situations and in ballparks and matchups with clubs. So it's going to be it's going to be a little bit stressful, but we feel like we've got a good path of where we want to go, and we got to get through this week first. You never know, we might have more games rained out, and those doubleheaders might get rained out, so who knows how it's going to happen.
And again, from a player's perspective, a little bit different. Yes, you get ready for a doubleheader. Sure, you have the days off and the last few days the players have had, but at the same time, those doubleheaders are grueling to get through, and especially when you have, like you said, 9 games in a 6-day stretch coming up next week. But from a player's perspective, maybe from a pitcher's side of it, how do you approach doubleheaders? I mean, coming into it, well, okay, you might have to just have a bullpen day when it comes to pitching as well.
I think, as a pitcher, I want them to go out there and try to attack bats because it's a 7-inning game.
Right.
The offenses are going to feel pressure to score runs early. So I think if they attack bats, they can use that to their advantage and get them to be over-aggressive, on some off-speed stuff and things like that. Offensively, you have to, like I just said, you have to attack early because the game's shortened so much. And also from a bullpen standpoint with guys like Bobby Gazzola and Dylan Fry and Tyler Joyner and Josh Johnson who can go, 2-3 innings. And then having guys like Bournes and Valek and JT and Julio who can shorten the game. 7-inning games work out pretty well for us. So, we're hoping that our starters can go deep, and if we need to, we got guys like Bobby and Dylan and all those young men down there that can take the ball and close games out and get that long save if they need it.
And I know we've talked about it maybe last week or so, but we said in the first week or two maybe of the season, the bullpen, maybe not one of the strengths. Now all of a sudden it's coming into play during the stretch run of this season where it's going to be very important. Obviously these games are. Now the bullpen, you can have bullpen days. Is there a certain pitch count, or is it just when it comes to different guys, different situations? But when you cut them off because you're playing 9 games in 6 days, you have to plan it out. Well, this guy can only go 40 pitches if we want to see him in 2 days. Do you have to do that on an individual basis, maybe with different pitchers?
Yeah, it is individual basis because with guys like Joyner, who's coming off some rehab, you don't want to burn him too much. Dylan Fry hasn't really been out there for more than 3 innings all year. But one of those young men, whether it's Josh Johnson, Bobby Gazzola, Dylan Fry, or Joyner, somebody's going to have to take a start for us possibly during that week because we don't want to bring guys back on 3-4 days rest or even 5 days rest. We like the 1 game in 7 days for our starters to keep them fresh and keep their pitch counts down. So, we may have to pull one of those guys out of the bullpen and give them a start.
And again, these next 2 games coming up, the radar looks good. We looked at Martinsville yesterday and here in Wilson today, but 2 teams that don't know too much about, really. Their record, you can see them on paper, but Forest City, as well as Martinsville from the western side, this will be the only time we face them all year long. But again, we've seen it with maybe a Florence coming in or when you take on Ashboro, just that 1 game. I know at this point it's unique because, hey, it doesn't matter. You just want to get back on the field and play whoever it is. But with someone like a Forest City, they started off very slow. They've come on strong very late and defeated Petersburg last night on a 2-game trip. A little bit of an advantage for them being able to stay out here because, well, that's one of the things when you play West against East, maybe that travel could be to your advantage. But with Forest City coming in tonight, any different approach coming into it, or again, you just want to get back on the field?
Just want to get back on the field and play our game. They do have a pretty good offense. I think they're hitting in the high 2s in average. Not sure on their pitching, but I'm sure they're going to throw a good arm at us tonight. So just play our game, and hopefully our starter, will go out and give us, keep it close and compete and give us a chance to win the game, and hopefully we'll score more than they do.
It's been 5 days since the Wilson Tobs have played a CPL contest. They'll take on Forest City tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch. We'll talk with Dylan Fry coming up next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran back here with Dylan Fry, someone that, well, we talk about our busy schedule here in the Coastal Plain League, but I guess in the last month for you, there's been a whirlwind with what you've been a part of. Played for NC State, who went to the College World Series, and then coming to Wilson a little bit, and then going on a recruiting trip, it seems like, and committing to play somewhere else. So we have a lot to cover here, Dylan, but first off, let's just talk about your time with the Tobs so far. It's been very impressive, 5 innings pitched. You've allowed just 1 hit, a run that was a little bit suspect, let's just say, but a pretty good start for you after maybe a tough year at NC State individually. What's the first couple of weeks been like with the Wilson Tobs for you?
I really enjoyed my time here. It's been awesome. I mean, the guys are fun. Love the coaches. I mean, it's the whole summer league idea. It's awesome and fun playing baseball every day.
And for you, too, coming from NC State, your freshman year was phenomenal. You threw over 20 innings. You had an ERA that was under 3, probably exactly what you expected. Sophomore year, not so much. You threw less than 10 innings. It had to be a little bit frustrating, but that freshman year, how much experience did you really gain? I mean, you pitched in a regional as well. It's just all you expected playing at that Division I level at NC State?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was good, I guess, getting thrown in the fire early. I mean, I threw a lot as a freshman, as you said, and I threw in a regional, I threw in a super regional. And and the guy actually gave up home run against us now playing in the major leagues.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it was a great experience, and I think it really helped moving on to be, exposed to that environment.
And we can see that as well with how explosive you've been. Very good out of the bullpen. Again, 5 innings pitched, just 1 hit allowed for Dylan. But this year, a bit frustrating for you, like you said. But let's talk about the College World Series experience, because that had to be pretty cool. I know that we talked about that maybe the first day that you were here. You understand the fact where, well, not many kids get to do it, whether it was a key role or not playing for NC State. What was that experience like going to Omaha and being one of the last teams standing?
It was awesome. I mean, really words, I guess, can't explain it. You really just have to go there, because, I mean, growing up, you see it, and it's so much more than you imagine it really being. Every team there is obviously good. I mean, you're playing for a national championship now, and you're the last 8 teams. You're playing in front of 25,000 a game. I mean, it's the biggest stage in baseball, college baseball.
And playing on a pretty good pitching staff as well with Carlos Rodon. And I know that you probably get this question a lot, but you and Carlos are very close. I want you to tell a little bit of our fans about your guys' relationship and how much he has helped you out maybe as a pitcher. I know maybe in developing a cut fastball that we'll talk about here in a second, but how about your relationship with Carlos, what he's meant on the field and off the field to you?
No, me and Carlos, we've been close since we were about 9 years old. We've played AAU together, grown up together. He only lived like 20 minutes away, so we'd visit each other, hang out, do stuff on the weekends. We played in the same high school conference, so played each other twice a year, every year. So yeah, we always talk a little junk, of course, during the games. But yeah, throughout the year, me and Carlos were roommates also. We were pretty close on and off the field. Me and him worked on, like you said, the cut fastball, which he, in his mind, I guess he thought was pretty good. I'd never actually thrown one, and then I talked to him. I was like, try to develop another pitch. I was like, how do you throw your cutter? And we worked with some grips, thrown it through a little bit, and turned out it was pretty good, and just kind of stuck with it. But yeah, he's a great person to talk to. He's, he knows pitching, knows how to pitch. Not only can he just sling it, but he actually knows how to pitch, and it's really helpful to have somebody like that just to give some different information.
Yeah, a pretty cool relationship, to say the least, talking with Dylan Fry here. Playing at NC State last year, playing somewhere else next year. A busy week for you. You were down in Florida on Thursday, and just tell everyone a little bit about your new school that you'll be going to next year to hopefully get a lot more innings.
Oh yeah, I'll be going to, it's Fort Lauderdale. I'll be playing for Nova Southeastern. It's a Division II school. Playing for Coach Greg Brown, Felipe Suarez. They're great guys. Coach Brown, he was a professional scout with the Rays. He actually played for Carolina Mudcats here. Suarez, he played up to AAA. But he's a pitching coach for Team USA. It's a great place. I mean, Fort Lauderdale.
I was just going to say, there's so many different factors that go into it, whether the success they've had, the coaching staff, it sounds like, or the location. Was there one that really sat above the rest for you? Going down to Florida and playing baseball couldn't be too bad.
Yeah, the coldest day last year was 62 degrees, and that's pretty good pitching weather right there. And, being that it's Fort Lauderdale, it's going to be warm in the summer. I always throw it better when it's warmer. Their facilities are, top of the line. It was amazing. It's Division II, and it's beyond the concept everybody has of Division II as being, not up to scale with Division I, but it competes with Division I schools that I've seen, and every year they compete for the Division II College World Series. Well,
something to be a part of, want to be a part of. Congratulations first off on that and getting going with that in the fall. But for the time being, you have a couple weeks left here with the Wilson Tobs. Try and keep up those impressive numbers. Are you looking for anything in particular? Maybe developing that cut fastball a bit more? Is there something in general, or just to get more innings for the next 3 weeks or so to close out the season?
Well, going into Nova, their plans for me is being a starter, and I have fastball, slider, and that's my 2 main pitches I stick with. But I think I want to develop a third good pitch to have. You're being a starter, you're going to need more than 2 pitches. So I think if I can develop a changeup, a splitter, just whatever can, maybe just that more tough to hit, I guess.
And one of the best pitchers on the Wilson Tobs staff, Dylan Fry. Good career so far, good career ahead, and we'll talk with Matt Micah coming up next to preview this game against Forest City. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. Riley Corcoran, Matt Micah back here with you, getting ready for this game against the Forest City Owls, a Western Division opponent coming into Wilson tonight. It's been so long, Matt. I know that it's like beating a dead horse in the sense we've talked with Coach Love, we talked with Dylan Fry about it. We just haven't played a game since Wednesday, a CPL game since Tuesday. frustrating. I think we've said that word about 10 times, it seems like,
Right.
throughout the course of this episode. So we'll turn the page. Let's talk more about this game tonight on the mound. Not quite sure who's even going to throw yet. Christian Slaznik, Michael Wells. It's looking like Michael Wells at this point, but to set up the bullpen for the rest of the week, that's kind of where we're going to spin this here. It's nice for the Tobs. They play 2 Western Division teams Sunday and Monday, but then an off day on Tuesday, so kind of approach it like a 2-game series. But how careful are the Tobs going to have to be with their bullpen here the next week or two?
Yeah, you only have to go staff days on both days.
Right.
You know, you can't burn out your pitchers in the game 1 and then go out and, you know, have nobody in the tank, you know, for the rest of the week. So the Tobs have to, you know, rely on their pitchers, you know, go 1 inning, go 2 innings, and maybe just go staff days.
And the bullpen has been a strength, so those 7-inning games like Coach Love talked about are going to be beneficial, I think, for them. But now with Fayetteville, let's focus on those Fayetteville nights. It's going to be crazy. We talked about playing the Swamp Dogs so many different times, 12 times throughout the course of the year. Well, now it's just down to 3 days, 6 games, 3 different double headers. Right. I've never seen anything quite like that. Have you?
No, not at all. I mean, playing all my life, I've never been a part of that. You know, I know we're going to be drained. I can't imagine what, you know, the players are going to feel like. So they just have to go out, you know, win each inning and just focus on the game at hand.
And the Tobs actually pick up a home game. The final game of the regular season, now August 5th, is moved into a doubleheader because of the rainout that happened last night in Fayetteville. They actually pushed that game to Wilson, so a little bit of a benefit, at least 1 extra home game for the Tobs in a doubleheader format. But now you look at it, maybe one of the positives coming through, that game against Edenton getting rained out, the ultimate Thirsty Thursday coming on the 25th when Edenton comes to town for the final time this year, a doubleheader format. Again, get used to the word doubleheader, I think, in the next couple of weeks. But that game Thursday the 25th, a lot of cool promotions going on through it. Tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're going to be promoting this event. It's going to be huge. It's a ultimate Thirsty Thursday, so we have the doubleheader, and then you can, you know, relax with the team at Buffalo Wild Wings after the game. It's get there early at the ballpark too for drink specials: $2 Blue Moons and $1 Miller Lite and Bud Lights.
It's very impressive because the first pitch is going to be at 6. Those $1 Bud Light and Miller Lite specials are going to be from 5 to 6:30.
Right.
The Blue Moon specials are going to be all night, so don't worry about that. But get to the ballpark early, make your plans around it. Now try and get off work a little bit early, it seems like, because that's going to be a special night. Of course, Edenton, probably one of the biggest rivals other than Fayetteville coming in. So that'll be impressive. That'll be coming up for the Wilson Tobs. Now just trying to get back in the swing of things. Wilmington had a big win last night. They beat Peninsula, so Peninsula finally lost for the first time. Believe it or not, there are other teams playing in the Coastal Plain League. It's just not Fayetteville and Wilson. Fayetteville has played only 2 games in 2 weeks. So it could get worse, I guess, if you're a Wilson Tobs fan or a player at this point. But the grind is going to come. Hopefully the players can adjust to that. That 2-game little mini-series tonight you can talk about with Forest City and then, of course, against Martinsville. But now looking at the standings again with Wilmington, trying to hold them off. How much, if you were a player, Matt, would you be looking at the standings pretty much on a daily basis now, because Wilmington and Wilson are going back and forth between that 4th and 5th seed?
Right. As a former player, I never focused on the standings, you know, personally, because I just focused on the game at hand. You only can control so much. So just focus on the game at hand, win each inning, win each game, and the standings will come from itself.
I think you learned something from Coach Austin Love. He said the same thing every now and then. We're going to wrap up the show next. This is Tobs Talk on Greenlight. And another episode of Tobs Talk in the books. Tobs have not played since Wednesday, a CPL game since Tuesday, but it's going to be a busy stretch coming up starting tonight as the team will host Forest City, a Western Division opponent, before playing Martinsville on Monday. Then starting on Wednesday, the big stretch continues. The Wilson Tobs will play their East Division rivals Wilmington 3 games in 2 days, which could very much determine who makes the playoffs towards the end of the year. So it will be a busy week coming up for Wilson. We had Robin Hooser on the show earlier today talking about Home Run for Hunger. It will be a great event coming out on Wednesday. Remember, bring 5 non-perishable food items, and you will get into the game for free. A great cause, great for everybody. We hope to see you out at the ballpark on Wednesday. As for tonight, we're probably going to see Michael Wells on the mound for the Wilson Tobs, the right-hander out of UNC Charlotte. Tobs had to unfortunately skip over their 1, 2, and 3 person, at least for their starting pitching. So we'll see how they reshuffle that rotation like we talked about with Coach Austin Love. You heard from Dylan Fry as well, a huge standout. Make sure to watch out for him in the next couple of years. He most likely will get drafted, a great career in front of him. Matt, Mike, and I broke down this game as well as the Ultimate Thirsty Thursday coming up Thursday the 25th. Make sure to mark that on your calendars right now. Drink specials all night, and then late night with the Tobs at Buffalo Wild Wings. So a busy next couple of weeks for the Wilson Tobs. As for tonight, they'll take on the Forest City Owls, who come in at 12-18. They had a 10-game losing streak at the beginning of the year, but their team hitting very impressive in the top 5 in pretty much every category offensively. We'll see if the Tobs pitching staff can limit them tonight. We'll be on the air next time on Wednesday to get you ready for our Tobs Talk on Greenlight.